on News Talk 95.3, 101.9 FM, and 1340 AM, your MNC nation stations.
Good morning and welcome to Monday. It's a new month, July the 1st, 2024. I'm Sean Simney in the MNC News Center, and the news getting started now with our top local stories. A shooting at South Bend's Prosper Apartments is being investigated as a homicide. 3 people were injured and 1 died as a result of their wounds. Officers were called to the apartments just before 1 o'clock Sunday morning. So far, no word of any suspects or arrests, and anybody with information about the shooting should contact Michiana Crime Stoppers. A reward of up to $2,500 will be awarded for any information leading to an arrest. A jury trial has been set for 2 parents charged in the death of their baby.
Nick Huntsberger is charged with neglect of a dependent, resulting in death after Amanda Fallbeck reported her 2-week-old son unresponsive in May of 2022. The baby and a sibling had slept in bed with the father, Huntsberger, and was found unresponsive the next morning. The baby was declared dead at the hospital. Police reported that both parents appeared to be intoxicated at the hospital, and amphetamine, methamphetamine, fentanyl, and norfentanyl were found in their systems after a blood test. Factors of death found in the baby's autopsy included preterm birth, drugs in the cord blood, drug abuse, and tobacco dependence by the mother, and complex sleep surface sharing, according to the Goshen News. Huntsberger's jury trial is set for October 28th. Alyssa Foster, MNC News.
A Rhode Island man's been sentenced after pleading guilty to fentanyl distribution in U.S. District Court in South Bend. 44-year-old Jesus Martinez Salas reported shipping more than a pound of fentanyl from Rhode Island to a buyer here in Indiana back in 2022. He was sentenced to 78 months in prison, followed by 4 years of supervised release. An Angola woman's accused of kidnapping a 5-year-old boy.
Steuben County Sheriff's deputies were called to the 4700 block of County Road 100 South on a report of a child taken from a home. 49-year-old Patricia Reffett, a relative of the boy, took the child from the father after he refused to allow the child to go with her. Police learned that the child's mother, who was going through a divorce from the dad, was having a medical procedure at Cameron Hospital in Angola. Sheriff's deputies were able to find the child and Reffett, who is booked into the Steuben County Jail on a preliminary charge of kidnapping. Morgan Hopkins, MNC News.
A head-on crash in Kosciuszko County claimed the life of 1 person and injured several others. Happened Saturday night at County Road 150 in Plain Township when police say a 31-year-old driver from Warsaw crossed the center line and struck another vehicle head-on. That vehicle's driver, 44-year-old Joseph Criswell, was pronounced dead at the scene. Criswell had 6 juvenile passengers in the vehicle, 3 of whom were injured. Congressman Rudy Yoakum represents South Bend and Washington, and he questioned its former mayor, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, about why it's taken so long to roll out public EV charging stations under programs announced 2 years ago.
I do believe that slow grant agreements certainly seem to be a hallmark of the Biden administration's what seems to be kind of the build nothing ever agenda.
And the first grants were announced back in January, and Buttigieg responded saying it takes more than just a few months to execute grants for charging stations. And as of today, Indiana has a new law on the books allowing restaurants in the state to offer to-go alcohol to their customers.
Restaurants will be working with the Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission to make sure that the rules are being followed and the alcohol sales can happen safely. WSBT reports that Indiana's new law requires that the drinks cannot be consumed while driving by being sold in a special container with a tamper-evident cap that includes 2 seals. There's also an effort to make sure that restaurant employees are selling alcohol to go in a responsible way. A number of states began selling alcohol to go during the pandemic. Tommy Lee, MNC News.
An NDOT worker has been told to hit the road.
An Indiana Office of Inspector General report has revealed a former NDOT supervisor was fired for sending sexually explicit images using a state phone. Our news gathering partners at Indiana Capital Chronicle report investigations found that Zachary Rutherford spent over 6 hours in October 2023 contacting women during work hours. He admitted to ghost employment and misusing state property and has agreed to pay about a $500 settlement.
That's Joe Ullery reporting. Last week's presidential debate stirred up various reactions among Indiana's political leaders.
President Biden and former President Donald Trump discussed wars, the climate crisis, and even golf, among other topics. Despite jumping around to different issues, nearly every Republican political leader in Indiana expressed optimism. Congresswoman Erin Houchin described the debate as a huge win for Trump, while Rep. Rudy Yoakum praised Trump for challenging Biden on immigration policy. Ryan Hedrick, Network Indiana.
Joe Biden's family used a gathering yesterday at Camp David to urge him to stay in the race and keep fighting, despite his dreadful debate performance. That's according to the Associated Press this morning. Some relatives criticized how his staff prepared him for the face-off, according to people familiar with those talks. It's probation, home detention, and over $200,000 to be paid in restitution for a South Bend man who pleaded guilty to theft.
50-year-old Jake Araberg reportedly falsely claimed to be a disabled military veteran and presented fraudulent military service records in order to obtain government benefits from 2005 through 2023. Reports say he obtained over $96,000 in VA medical benefits and over $129,000 in Social Security disability benefits. He was sentenced to 2 years of probation with 8 months of home detention and was ordered to pay over $226,000 in restitution to the victims. Mike Wilson, MNC News.
One person was shot on South Bend's northwest side on Saturday night, then taken to the hospital. Police responded to the 1100 block of Goodland Avenue around 9:30 that night, surrounded a home near Green Street, and urged the occupants to come out. One male was shot. There's been no word of any arrests or suspect information or details about what led to that shooting. 3 people were hospitalized after a 5-vehicle crash caused by a cow Thursday morning on State Road 19. The cow was struck by a vehicle traveling northbound, which pushed the animal into the southbound lane, where it was then struck by 3 more vehicles. 2 people were taken to Elkhart General Hospital for complaints of neck and back pain. Another was taken for a possible broken wrist. A man who police say fell asleep at the wheel caused a deadly crash in LaGrange County. This happened Thursday morning when the 74-year-old man who was on State Road 5 in Topeka crossed the center line, then collided with an oncoming vehicle. One passenger in that vehicle was hit and hospitalized, while the other, 53-year-old Abel Salazar of Ligonier, died at the scene. Both of the drivers were unharmed. Turning to the 95.3 MNC follow-up file, a silver alert has been declared for the 14-year-old Bryson Muir of Logansport.
It's a story that seems to get stranger and stranger. Muir was last seen in Ohio on June 16th as he was leaving his grandmother's home with his mother. ISP says the teenager's parents, Daniel and Kristen Muir, had agreed to bring the boy to meet with officers Friday afternoon. But the Muirs apparently changed their minds, meaning police have still not seen the boy. If you know anything about his disappearance, please call the ISP post in Peru or dial 911. Sasha Nixon, Network Indiana.
Now, 95.3 MNC watching the economy. An Elkhart-based company is expanding their location in Michigan.
There was a ribbon cutting on June 20th with the Battle Creek Area Chamber of Commerce for a new location for Mid-City Supply Company, the top-tier plumbing, HVAC, and industrial products company, centered in Elkhart, relocated from Galesburg to a bigger facility in Springfield, which includes more room for counter sales and a classroom for training. Mid-City Supply employs 145 people in 9 Indiana and Michigan locations. Tommy Lee, MNC News.
And the Food Bank of Northern Indiana has released this month's mobile food distribution schedule.
The drive-through distribution events provide food to community members in need at no cost. The first event in July is scheduled for Monday the 1st at the Purdue University Westville campus. They'll be supplying pre-boxed and pre-bagged goods from 10 a.m. until noon. The following event will be on Wednesday the 3rd at the former Bargain Lane in South Bend from 9 a.m. until 11. And they'll be at the East Goshen Mennonite Church on Thursday the 11th from 11 a.m. until 1. All food will be distributed on a first-come, first-served basis and are available while supplies last. You can find the full Food Bank of Northern Indiana's mobile food distribution schedule for July at 953mnc.com.
Mostly sunny skies today. We're back to a more summery feel today with high temperatures at 78 this afternoon. Tonight, clear and cool. We drop back down to 57. And then for Tuesday, a little bit warmer. Will be partly sunny. High temperatures right around 83. Our next chance of rain will develop on Wednesday. I'm WSBT 22 Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
You can get the top local news delivered to your email twice each day. To get signed up, go to 953mnc.com and click where it says on demand.
Podcasts by Federated Media.